Hey guys, Enzo Vergnano here. I have troubles working my camera on my computer, so I'm going to do my presentation from my phone, and I'm going to show you guys my computer at the same time. Here we have the hidden crisis, ways to address law enforcement, mental health, and readiness for mass shooters / stress situations. Now, here's the introduction, as you can see here. And it's unfortunately no surprise that in the past 20 years, mass shootings have become common phenomenon in this country. And due to that, law enforcement has a lot to do with mentally and also physically when it comes to mass shootings, such as how to respond with it, and most importantly, how to deal with it after. And it's very important that law enforcement stays on top of their mental health to become better officers for the community and also victims at that time. So as you can see here, as we go on to the third slide, introduction, slide 2, an study is from the psychology book, Wilson, 2017. In multiple shooting incidences, not only are the individuals who are targeted at risk for PTSD, but also the rescue workers. This especially applies to police who may have also engaged in a shootout with perpetrators and thus also have the experience of being a target, which might confer greater risk for PTSD compared to other responders. And this is why I think to combat mental health epidemic in the police force and to better them for a mass shooting, there's 3 ways that we can do this: is through psychological units, breaking police stigma and mental health, and more specialized training. Now as we go on to the next slide, implement psychological units. Ways to implement psychological units. As we see here, a study was done amongst 25 officers where a deadly shooting was involved. And a lot of those people had self-destructive behaviors, burnout, and overall bad aura when it came to their jobs and stuff after. So if we had psychological units where we could address their needs and wellness, they could overall become better officers and not be so reluctant to seek mental health things and such like that. And how to implement psychological units? Well, we could transfer funds within the police department to create a 24/7 functional psych unit that could provide resources to the officers, such as referring them to doctors for medication or referring them to get diagnosed with something if they need that, and to convince police chiefs, mayors, and county members that 24/7 psychological units within a police department is essential. As we go into breaking police stigma and mental health, it's really important to do this because there's a lot of stigma when you're a first responder. You have to be not necessarily tough, but you have to be strong enough for your job, and maybe coming out saying you're struggling with something is a struggle for them to admit that, or just to be seen as different in front of their employees. And according to this, Lilly 2023, First Help, a nonprofit that started collecting law enforcement suicide data in 2016, reported 756 officer suicides. That number is 3 times higher than any feloniously killed officers. So that really shows you how devastating that could be for a lot of people. And as we go on how to break police stigma and mental health, give different standardized training. Many police academies view mental health as a weakness and a betterment to their agencies, done by Lilly, and they've been conditioned to think that mental health issue is a character flaw. And overall, agencies could culturally change, meaning that they could be willing to support other officers and maybe not demote them or look down below them if they say, hey, I've been struggling after this event, etc., etc. And then lastly, which I think is very important, is implement more specialized training. What does this mean, implement more specialized training? How to help officers specialize training for high stress situations such as mass shootings, whenever that's mentally, how to deal with a stressing shooting, or how to physically act during the acts, because a lot of officers just have standardized training and they don't have any per se specialized training when it comes to dealing with a mass shooter with a high caliber weapon where there's multiple people injured, and that could give a lot of stress to the officer during that situation where they might not know what to do, which can inevitably lead to more PTSD if they feel guilty or sad that they couldn't do anything because they didn't have that training. ways to implement more specialized training, and overall such things like that. When we're looking at class examples like Scott Peterson or the Uvalde police, they kind of failed to act in their positions when it came to saving the kids from those school shooters / mass shooters because of their lack of training, unfortunately. And the ways to implement more specialized training is to increase funding, opportunity for officers, CQB, close quarters combat, and more effective response to the scene, make police academies more rigorous in what they teach, such as how to mentally prepare for a heavy scene or such like that, and have retired military or SWAT give training on a monthly basis to help police officers how to deal with a high-stress situation such as a mass shooting, and also mandate state requirements for officers to pass mentally and physically to handle a mass shooting. The discussion overall, I think these three factors can really help law enforcement get better at handling mass shootings mentally, and also how they could cope with it, etc. And overall, there will always be more stuff to do in the future. Here are my references. And again, sorry my computer was not working. The camera this whole week was just not working, so I just decided to do it from my phone and show you from here, but I'll also individually send the power slide for you to see. All right, thank you guys. Thank you.